It takes a lot of ingredients to fix or build a car, like cooking, but without the frozen dinner easy way out. eBay Motors has 122 million parts. It's always the right fitment, so you can follow any recipe to a T. Whether it's a vintage Italian coupe that's classic like Grandma's meatballs or a German luxury car that's as complicated as Oma's rouladen, to cook up something great in the garage, use the eBay Motors app or visit ebaymotors.com. Let's ride.
Hear that? Is that America cheering or a sausage patty sizzling to perfection? It's time to cheer for Egg McMuffin and fresh cracked eggs at McDonald's. It's time to wake up to the aroma of freshly baked biscuits and treat yourself to a real honest-to-goodness morning meal. Breakfast, it's on at McDonald's. Now get any breakfast sandwich for just $2. Available only through the app. Mobile order and pay available at participating McDonald's. McD app download and registration required.
Good morning, Ethos, and welcome to another edition of Sports Ethos DFS Today. This is your Tuesday, December 21st edition. I am your host, Santino Cacone, and we are going to run through a quick, nice, efficient 5-game slate for you. We have one game that was canceled already, and a couple others that who knows. This basketball season, especially the last 2 weeks or so, has been insane with the amount of people going in, people going out, not just injuries, protocols, everything else, you name it, cancellations. It has been hectic. We're going to try and do our best here to break it down. Long-time listeners, you know we usually do this night before, morning of. Lots of things have been changing rapidly throughout the days leading up to the game. So take it with a grain of salt, but we'll do our best to prepare you for what we can prepare for. Not the unpreparable type of stuff that we've been seeing. But before we get into it, I want everybody to know to take a moment and follow Ethos Fantasy BK on Twitter, the single most dominant basketball and fantasy news feed on earth. Get all your NBA news in one handy Twitter feed. It's faster than the competition and provides more analysis too. Again, that's at Ethos Fantasy BK on Twitter. Follow now. And I also want to go, before we jump in, quickly, we want to remind you all to use coupon code HoopBall20 at manscaped.com for 20% off your order and free shipping. And also check out our pals at mybookie.ag. Use code HoopBall on the third page of sign up to unlock deposit match bonuses there as well. All right, let's get into it. First game on the docket, we have the Indiana Pacers at the Miami Heat. We don't have a game total or spread for this one. Probably won't be too high, but we do have a chock-full injury report. Pacers just have McConnell, TJ Warren, both the TJs out. The Heat, Bam, Butler still out. Caleb Martin, Markieff Morris, Oladipo, PJ Tucker going to miss this one. And Tyler Hero is questionable. We'll jump on over to the Pacers side of the ball. These guys are all in really good spots. The vaunted Heat D isn't as vaunted when a lot of their guys are missing. And we add PJ Tucker to that list. Sabonis at 10-6. That's a hefty price tag, but his matchup is really solid here. That is going to be a hefty price tag. So I'm leaning a lot towards Miles Turner. Even at 6'8", he's still been providing value for the last 5 games, at least 34 fantasy points. So hitting value right there in 4 of the last 5. Dwayne Dedman and Yurt 7, KZ Akpala. That's going to be pretty front court for the Heat this game. Nothing too imposing there. Probably won't go Levert or Brogdon with their respective price tags. But I'm looking at the front court here. Chris Duarte, still under 5K. Not a bad play here. He saw 29 minutes in the last one, brought back 32 actual points, almost 33. 13 shots, so we like to see that. Not terrible option, but don't love it. O'Shea Brissett, 35, another guy you can look at. He's been consistently getting minutes in the 20s here. Not bringing back a whole lot of value, but at 3,500, we can fit him in if need be. That's pretty much it. I'm looking at the front court mainly on this side of the ball. Really like their matchups. On the other side of the ball, I mean, we still don't have Bam or Butler. Hero has missed the last couple games. He is questionable. That's going to decide a lot on that front court or on the back court. I wouldn't really touch Gabe Vincent or Max Struss if Hero plays. Hero would be in a fantastic spot at only $7K, almost $2,000 less than Kyle Lowry. Love that spot if he plays and he's ready to go a full complement of minutes. We've seen that before when Hero was questionable plays. He played 40 couple minutes a couple times already, so I don't think there's really a limit on him. But if he doesn't play, Gabe Vincent, Max Struss still, even at their price tags, getting up there, almost 6K. I prefer Struss at 4.7. Still worthwhile there because there's still no Caleb Martin as well. The entire backcourt rotation is just not really there. Kyle Lowry's in a good spot, 8.7. Probably won't go that high for him, but he has been bringing back. He brought back over 40 points in 3 of the last 5 games and over 38 in 4 of the last 5. So not terrible. Dedmon I won't really look at, but we do have some value. You're at 7, 3,500. Might draw the start here. No PJ Tucker. 3 of the last 4 games, he's played at least 18 minutes. He's brought back 19.5 fantasy points all 3 of those games. So some solid value to be had here. And there's extra minutes to go around. KZ Okpala might start. And we know what he can do when he does start and play a lot of minutes. Hasn't had that blow-up game at December 8th against Milwaukee. He did 10 points, 9 boards, nearly 31 fantasy points in 32 minutes. So that's a guy to look at just in case. And Marcus Garrett, he's played 32 minutes in the last 2 games. Just might be someone else if Tyler Hero misses or if anybody else happens to miss this game. But to me, I'm mainly looking at your 7 Okpala, see who gets that start, who doesn't. Either way, both them a lot of minutes up for grabs in that front court still. And then Tyler Hero if he plays. I like those guys. And if not, Struss for under 5K is a solid value. All right, jumping on over to the next game of the night. We have the Detroit Pistons taking on the New York Knicks. In New York, we don't have a spread for this one, but once again, we have a pretty big injury report. Pistons. We have Jeremy Grant, Kelly Olynyk, both out for this one. Corey Joseph, Hamidou Diallo are both available. On the Knicks, we got a lot of people in the health and safety protocols. We got RJ Barrett, Quentin Grimes, Kevin Knox, Miles McBride, Emmanuel Quickley, Obi Toppin, all out. And then Derrick Rose is questionable. We'll start with the Knicks, and we'll start with the Pistons. They are the away team. Cade Cunningham had himself a dud in the last one in the scoring column. Just 4 points. He did have 10 assists. He did have 2 steals and a couple rebounds. So the kid can still fill it up when he's not scoring, but we need him to score if he's going to beat this price tag. Don't mind him here, but I do think we have some other options even in a slate like this around that price tag. Sadiq Bey is a guy I'm looking at, 65, 3 straight games of at least 23 actual points. He's brought back 50, 38, and 35.5 fantasy points, scoring a lot, and this is a matchup that he's going to be playing up a lot of backups probably. It's a good matchup for him. He's on fire right now. He's shot over 52% from the field in the last 3 games. Shooting solid from 3 straight games with at least 3 made threes, and 4 of the last 5 he's made at least 3 threes. So guy's on fire right now. They need him without Grant Olynyk, so I like him here. Diallo at 4.2. He actually played a lot of minutes in the last one. He was hovering around in the 20s for the last 3. Hit 30 minutes in the last one. Took 10 shots, 25.5 fantasy points. Pretty solid if he's going to continue to do that. Jackson at 4.1 makes some sense here too. It's a pretty solid role for him. He's a scorer off the bench, a spark plug, and we know what he can do, so I don't mind him. Stewart at 5.1, don't hate him, but the upside, he's just not showing full upside. For me, I think Diallo, Jackson are pretty solid here. Sadiq Bey is a guy I'm really targeting, and I'll leave it at that for now. jumping on over to the Knicks side of the ball. I mean, I don't know who else is going to get added by tomorrow. Seemingly most of their team. Julius Randle at 10-3 is just going to be in a fantastic spot. Hasn't been playing the greatest lately, but we do have 3 straight games of at least 20 actual points, and something's got to give. There's really no one on this team right now, especially if Derrick Rose doesn't play. So you can look at him for 10-3. I think the matchup is good as well. Evan Fournier, Kemba Walker might have to stick and be prominent in this lineup out of necessity. Kemba Walker wasn't even playing for nearly a month and then came back and dropped 29 actual points on 37 minutes. They might need to do it again. We know Alec Burks is starting, but there might not be Rose. Barrett. It's gifting season. No one returns alcohol. So this year, get everyone on your list the gift of beer, wine, and spirits delivered with Drizzly in under 60 minutes. Right now, Drizzly is giving every new customer $5 off their first order. Just use the promo code FAST5 at checkout. So download Drizzly app now or go to drizzly.com. That's DRIZLY.com and use the promo code FAST5 for $5 off your first order. And get that delivered in under 60 minutes. Get it when you need it. You can also conveniently shop across stores, so you can choose from a huge selection and get exactly what you want. And you have the benefit of finding out the best deals on what you're looking for, as you can compare prices across those multiple stores. Drizzly is the most convenient way to buy beer, wine, and spirits with delivery to your doorstep in under 60 minutes. Drizzly is the #1 app for alcohol delivery. So download the Drizzly app now or go to drizzly.com. Again, that's DRIZLY.com and use the promo code FAST5 at checkout to get $5 off your first order.
Hear that? Is that America cheering or a sausage patty sizzling to perfection? It's time to cheer for Egg McMuffin and fresh cracked eggs at McDonald's. It's time to wake up to the aroma of freshly baked biscuits and treat yourself to a real honest-to-goodness morning meal. Breakfast, it's on at McDonald's. Now get any breakfast sandwich for just $2. Available only through the app. Mobile order and pay available at participating McDonald's. McD app download and registration required.
Grimes. Everybody pretty much quickly. Everyone's in the health and safety protocols right now, so I don't know who's out at the time of the game, but Kemba Walker might be right back into the line of fire, able to shoot. Evan Fournier, they need something from him. He dropped 32 actual points in the last one, 55 total points in the last 2 games. 5-1, I can take a shot at him too. There's really no one. They need this guy to score. They need him to show that he's even somewhat worth the money. So that's solid there. Honestly, outside of that, I really don't want to pay up for Mitch Robinson or Noel or Taj Gibson unless they start someone that's unforeseen, like one of these guys that needs to play, like Jericho Sims started or something. I would take a look at it, but outside of that, I think I'm just staying with Walker, Fournier, and some Randall here. Depending on who's in, who's out, this entire game could change. If Rose plays, I think that's slightly too high for where I want to pay for him. But that does knock down Kemba and Fournier's value there. But if he doesn't play, I mean, they're just going to have to force feed these guys minutes and opportunity. All right, jumping on over to the next game of the night, we have the Portland Trail Blazers at the New Orleans Pelicans. This one tips off at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We do have a spread for this. It is 220, and the Blazers are 2-point road favorites. On the injury report, we have a light one here. We have Lillard as questionable, McCollum, Zeller out. Zion, Kyra Lewis, Dalton Holmes, all out. All right, we're going to start with the Blazers. Obviously, big news. We got to wait on Lillard. If he doesn't play, changes everything around. We already don't have McCollum. We don't have Lillard. Anthony Simons looks really, really nice here at 4,500. Norman Powell looks like a stud at 6,400 with or without Lillard. I like him here. Great matchup for this entire team. But without Lillard, he is the alpha and omega of options on this team. 6,400 is a fantastic price tag. Dennis Smith Jr. jumps back into the thick of things, but he's still at 6K. If he was more reasonably priced now that Lillard is back, would make more sense. But 6K, that's already priced up without a Lillard and McCollum in the lineup. So I'm looking at Powell, Simons without Lillard. If Lillard is playing, he's in a very good spot, and Powell is regardless. But this is against the Pelicans. Everybody's looking nice here. And at under 10K, don't mind taking a stab at it, but I need to see the injury report first, see how he's feeling, because he's been battling the abdominal injury. Now it's a hamstring injury. A lot of things going against him, so I don't know if I want to fully go there. I'll keep an eye out on the pregame injury reports. But like I said, Powell, very good spot. My favorite play on the team at 6'4", one of my favorite plays on the slate. Covington, Nasir Little, these guys are getting some minutes. Nasir Little's drawn the start, 4,200. I like that there. He's played 35, 30, and 36 minutes in the last 3 games, bringing back some solid fantasy value too, and he's only 4,200 value each of those 3 games. I think it continues if he continues to see 30 minutes, and I do believe he will. So I really like him there. So I'm mainly sticking to those guys. Simons, if there is no Lillard, Powell all the way. I'll keep my eye out on the Lillard pregame if he's healthy and how healthy he is, and then Nasir Little. I think these guys are very good, solid from mid-tier to very solid value on this side of the ball. On the other side of the ball, everything I said about going against the Pelicans is bad. Going against the Blazers is bad too, or good, I should say, if you're on the opposing team. The Blazers are easily giving up the highest three-point percentage in the league. They have one of the worst defenses in the league right now by most metrics. That's because they're just letting teams drain threes on them. With that said a lot of guys in that upper 8K range, mid 8K range. Brandon Ingram, right there. Love Brandon Ingram. Had a couple of days off today, or in the last few games because they got their last game canceled. He's been playing really well anyway. And at 8-9, I will gladly spend up at this price tag in this matchup for him. I think it's a really solid matchup for him. Great defense. He can chuck up 11 threes in this one. Even if he only makes 4, he's going to do a lot of damage elsewhere as well. Josh Hart for 5'7" is a solid price tag. Graham, Walker both get boosts in this matchup. I think Graham the bigger boost because Walker's still not really playing a lot, but Graham is. And I mentioned about the 3-point percentage. This dude has taken double-digit threes in 3 of the last 5 games. He's going to shoot a ton of threes here, and the Blazers are giving up an absurd 3-point percentage. So Devontae Graham is a guy I'm looking at here as a pivot play. I don't think he's going to get much exposure. 5,400 in a great matchup. I think that's a solid price tag. So I'm sticking to those guys, Ingram, Hart, Graham. I like Ingram, Graham, and Hart in that order. Maybe throw in a Herb Jones at 4,200. I do think Nasir Little is a better play, higher upside, but just another guy in that 4K range that you can look at. All right, before we move on, just want to let everybody know, we have a new daily fantasy partner at Sports Ethos, Thrive Fantasy. Prop up with Thrive Fantasy on their mobile app or at thrivefantasy.com. Use code ETHOS when you sign up to get a 100% deposit match bonus on your first deposit up to $100 plus either 2 or 4 free game tickets to play. Pick player props on the biggest names playing every night. Score points when your props hit. And the players with the most points win a share of the nightly prize money. It is awesome there. Definitely go check out Thrive Fantasy. All right, next game on the docket. Second to last game of the night. We have tipping off at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have the Minnesota Timberwolves taking on the Dallas Mavericks in Dallas. We don't have a spread. We don't have a total yet. But we do have a big injury report. Both teams in the health and safety protocols. Reggie Bullock, Willie Cauley-Stein, Luka, Josh Green, Maxi Kleba are all out. Porzingis is questionable. On the Wolves, we have Beverly, Edwards, Okogie, Taurean Prince, Jared Vanderbilt, all out. We'll start with the Wolves. This is just a juicy matchup for these guys. Karl Anthony Towns under 10K. Yes, they just played these guys the other night, and that was with half Porzingis, and they won by 6 points. But Townsend, he only had 42 fantasy points, but he shot 6 of 15 from the field. I don't expect that to happen again. He got to the line 13 times. I expect him to shoot more, closer to 50% from the field, take more than 3 threes. Townsend's in a fantastic spot. D'Lo had himself a solid game, 7,700. He put up 30 fantasy points. I think he's in a solid position, but I don't need to love to go to him. Malik Beasley, though, very solid spot here. He only shot 4 of 13 from the field against these guys, but again, second start, 30 minutes, back-to-back games of 30 minutes, can continue to go to him under 5K. It's a very, very awesome price tag. Jaden McDaniels should start. I played 32 minutes in the last game. He had 12 points, and that all he had was 1 rebound, 1 assist, and a couple fouls after that. I expect a lot more, especially without Jared Vanderbilt. So that is something we can keep an eye on. He's just a very solid price tag right now. Only 3,400, super cheap. Jalen Noel, 3,300. He played 18 minutes. There's no Patrick Beverley. There's more minutes to go around in the backcourt. A lot of guys to like here. Naz Reid, if you really want to, 3,200. But I think McDaniels at 3,400, to me, I like a little bit better. I know Naz Reid fills it up per minute, but he's still playing behind Towns. They don't really play them together, so I don't see a ton of extra minutes there. But Noel, Beasley, McDaniels, very solid value of these guys. There's just so many. 3 starters are missing. And then you got Prince, who's in the rotation, a solid rotation piece who's out here too. So Towns, Beasley, McDaniels, Noel, those guys I'm really looking at. I think those last 3 are very good value, 3,200 or 3,400 only. On the other side of the ball, similar thing. We might not have Porzingis. We already don't have Luka. Brunson is 7,400. That's a little higher than I want to go. That's pretty much where he's been at value. You can still beat that, but I think we'll have some money that we don't need to. But Hardaway Jr., Finney Smith, we don't have Kleba here, or maybe Porzingis and Cauley-Stein. So Dwight Powell, Moses Brown, one of those 2 guys are going to get some minutes here. And that's 3,200 and 33,000. So the front court here, I'm taking a peek at, but Hardaway Jr., Finney Smith, Trey Burke, those guys, a lot of usage is going to fall to them, especially Hardaway Jr. at only 6,100. He just had himself a really good game against these guys. 28 actual points, 6 boards, 6 assists, 52 fantasy points the other night against the same team. I can see maybe not another 50-point outburst, but 40 points, well within reason at only 6'1". Very, very solid plays. And Finney Smith had over 30 points, and he's fairly cheap as well. I think Burke is in line for more minutes now. Reggie Bullock's not going to play either. There's so many people on health and safety protocols, and these 3 are in really solid shape, especially even the front court. We'll see who starts. It's probably could be Brown, and if Brown starts, I like him. We know his upside from last year when he was playing on a scrub team. This is kind of all backups, especially if Porzingis doesn't miss. Could be a similar situation here, so I like him in this one as well. This is a lot to siphon through, and we don't know who's going to get added to the list and who's not, or who's going to get taken off the list before game time as well. There's a lot of time. All right, last game of the night, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have the Phoenix Suns taking on the Los Angeles Lakers in LA. We have a 219 game total, and the Suns are 7-point home favorites. On the injury report, we'll start with the Suns. It's not as crazy. Dario Saric, Abdul Nader, Frank Kaminsky, all out. The Lakers, Bazemore, Bradley, AD, Horton Tucker, Dwight Howard, Malik Monk, Kendrick Nunn, Austin Reeves, all out. And LeBron and Trevor Ariza are probable. Suns are the away team. Start with them. We saw the return of Devin Booker in the last one, and we didn't have to see too much of them. They beat Charlotte by 31 points. It was a blowout from start to finish. Booker did take 15 shots, looked pretty solid. Brought back 34.5 fantasy points. No need to rush to him here yet. He missed a lot of time, 8,500. We have some other options, but it does bring down Chris Paul. It does bring down DeAndre Ayton a little bit. Brings down Cam Johnson. Cam Payne had himself a solid game in the last one, but at 5K, they're all still priced up to where Booker is out of the lineup. So I'm pretty much not going to attack the Suns. I think we could see a sneaky game here, like JaVale McGee did. He's four of the last 5 games. JaVale McGee has over 30 fantasy points. So I think we can see another sneaky game, especially with the Lakers' front court problems right now. No AD, no Howard. DeAndre Jordan stinks. So I don't mind a McGee, but at 4,600, we don't have to force it. Ayton is going to be in a fantastic spot of the 3 top guys. That's who I would go with. But yeah, everybody else pretty much going to leave alone. And on the Lakers side of the ball, we saw LeBron James have a great game against the Bulls. They lost, but he still had over 60 fantasy points. I expect something similar. I mean, he was playing center at some moments, whether you want to count him or Melo at the center at the time when they were playing. One of them was center, one of them was power forward. That was the front court. See that again, even in this matchup. LeBron's going to be really good. Westbrook, 10-4. Don't hate it, but I would just prefer LeBron. I know he's priced up at 11, but look at the injury report here. Unless things change, Carmelo Anthony, Isaiah Thomas, Wayne Ellington, got to get a ton of run. Ariza just came back, played 15 minutes, but eventually he's going to have to play like 25 with everybody on the injury report. That said, LeBron James, 11-1. I'm ready to pay for it. We have so much value here too on this slate that we don't have to kill ourselves. Carmelo Anthony's going to get a ton of minutes here, and they need him. Isaiah Thomas, 4.6 and 4K. Wayne Ellington, don't love him, but to me, LeBron, Melo, Isaiah all make a lot of sense. Isaiah doesn't do much. Carmelo is going to add some stuff because he needs to. Isaiah is just a guy to throw in there to hopefully hit a heater. But LeBron and Melo, I mean, very, very easy to chalk them up here and play them. All right. That does it for tonight's episode of DFS Today. Thank you guys for tuning in. We will catch you again tomorrow. Peace.
Hear that? Is that America cheering or a sausage patty sizzling to perfection? It's time to cheer for Egg McMuffin and fresh cracked eggs at McDonald's. It's time to wake up to the aroma of freshly baked biscuits and treat yourself to a real honest-to-goodness morning meal. Breakfast, it's on at McDonald's. Now get any breakfast sandwich for just $2. Available only through the app. Mobile order and pay available at participating McDonald's. McD app download and registration required.
Gearheads know that some projects need so many parts, it feels like you need a whole storage unit just to store them. That's what eBay Motors' 122 million parts are for. Think of it as your virtual parts garage. They've always got the right fitment at the right prices. Use the eBay Motors app or visit ebaymotors.com. Let's ride.